less than 2 weeks out till Battlefield 6, and EA gets bought. They sell out, bro.
And they did.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
3 companies for $55 billion. They have taken a publicly traded company for the last 36 years and made it a private company. It's, people don't know what this means for the future of like Battlefield or any of the IPs that EA holds. Obviously, nobody buys a company for $55 billion and wants it to then not do well. They want it to do well, but just a major changing of the guard. Apparently their CEO is remaining in charge, but we got the official word, I think, this morning, and we're recording this Monday, so the podcast is going live Wednesday, but what was your reaction to just like reading that? Like,
just surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, EA's been a publicly traded company for how long now? And
36
to then
years.
go private, has it how many years?
36, man.
It's a long time.
Yeah,
that is
almost
literally
my lifetime.
as old as I am.
Your lifetime.
My entire lifetime, they've been a publicly traded company, and now they're not. You know me. You know, I'm obviously a very astute, intellectual businessman who knows all the nuance of what happens behind closed doors for a multi-billion-dollar trade deal.
I go to you for all my stock advice.
Of course. So obviously, I'm going to have all the great information and insights on what this means for the future of EA. But boy, I have no idea.
Yeah, nobody does, obviously. Truly nobody could tell you, but I have seen some like, this is bad because of X and this could be good because of Y type debate happening online. It's interesting. I don't like seeing all of these American video game companies getting bought up by foreign businesses and corporations and stuff. You're just sort of like, man, like what's going on? Is that like symbolic of this country not really being like a leader in tech anymore and not a leader in creative game development anymore? Like, it's a little sad. I'll say I felt sad initially thinking about it. It's just like, man, what does that mean? I played EA games back when their logo was like a triangle, a circle, and a square. Do you remember that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're ancient, so.
I'm ancient. This was 3,000 years ago. I was there.
Yeah.
And, the urban strike and the desert strike helicopter games, they had their little triangle, circle, square, Electronic Arts logo.
It does sound familiar now that you mention it.
Yeah. It was back in the days of the Sega Genesis and whatnot. I've been an EA fan for a long time. Obviously, their headquarters here aren't going to just shut down. Like the worst thing you could do when buying a company like that would to be just to like shut down the studios, because then what are you doing? You're just buying a name and intellectual property and not a development studio. So clearly their projects, I think by and large, are still going to move forward, but there could be some pretty big changes in the nearish future in terms of what they're going to do.
Right. The one worry I heard some people express is that apparently they're going in debt because of this by like $20 billion. I don't know how that works, because it sounds like they're supposedly making $55 billion, but so I don't know where that came from.
I thought they were paying off debt. I thought that's what
maybe
it was.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what's going on.
I don't know.
And so the worry is that they're going to go even more aggressive with their monetization, and then the internet's response is, how? How are you going to go like more aggressive on the monetization?
Yeah. No, the MTX, the microtransaction point has been brought up quite a bit, and especially popular with other countries and the way that they handle making their online live service games. They just go bananas with live service stuff, and it's a bit different from the way that I think a lot of like US and European based countries try and monetize their games. I mean, everybody tries to get as aggressive as possible, but I feel like Western game developers have been a little less aggressive because there's been more pushback. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. A silver lining potentially that I heard, and who knows if this really is a silver lining, is that by going private instead of public, they don't have to do their quarterly earnings stuff to their investors, and they don't have to like try and show a profit in these crazy windows and timelines, right? They could maybe push things out to more realistic timelines and go like, hey, if we pushed Battlefield back a year and then launched a much better game that sold even better, then that seems like a good business plan. Maybe they could make decisions like that as opposed to having to have a lot of angry investors rabble-rousing behind the scenes and forcing their hand to like push things out before they're ready.
Right.
At the same time, it's a giant corporation and they're going to want to make money. So
correct.
Who knows if that would actually happen. I read an article that when they were sort of sniffing around this EA buyout deal before it had been officially announced, that the AAA game industry was heading towards this trend universally where they're pulling back from investing heavy in building new IDs and new IPs and new ideas, right? Because there's been so many failures among AAA publishing lately where they've been losing hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on these big gamble projects, and then they fail, usually because they're just not innovative.
Did they have any examples in the article of what they were referring to?
They basically indicated, they referred to income reports and monetary analysis that showed that basically these studios were making all their money and people were spending all their money on games that had been around like 5 years or longer.
Yeah, live service games.
Yeah, live service games, and that like a very small percentage of the annual revenue was coming from new titles. And they're sort of taking that in and going, well, why do we keep investing in new titles then? It seems like AAA is really about bolstering and getting behind your biggest live service IPs and just focusing on that. And there seems to be like this idea that AAA is going to push in that direction in a bigger way, in which case buying a company like EA would make sense in that they own a ton of these big IPs that you could just keep doing that with, Battlefield being one of them. So hopefully Battlefield gets more support and not less support, but it could also mean that the future of Battlefield is maybe more live servicey. We don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. The only reason why I was wondering is you said that, like, because for the longest time, and I would still argue to this day, big AAA games have not been taking big risks on new games. They usually go with the more like safe route. They're still big in production, but they're not. There's not a lot of big new games, I would say, that have been brand new IDs or intellectual properties. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have this really kind of flawed concept to approach it where you could take, what was that big Sony flop recently where they spent like $700 million? Concord. Where you look at that game and you're like, you put all this money and you took no risks. You like basically ensured its failure to some degree by not taking risks. And so they just can't get out of this weird... I feel like just the big corporate culture is not conducive to being creative and coming up with good new ideas. They just sort of water everything down, sand it down until it's not unique and interesting anymore, where indie and smaller studios can really do that much better. So
this has definitely been the year for indie games. Holy. Or double A. Double A and indies has been killing it.
Yeah. And I mean, AAA is going to launch some big games this year too.
Yeah.
They're just not quite as like when you see a new Call of Duty game coming out, you know exactly what it's going to be even before you see a trailer.
Literally the trailer that we saw recently for the multiplayer was the most average looking Call of Duty. Like I've seen this trailer before. I like beat for beat, slow motion camera. Like it was. Yeah, it was a snooze.
What'd you think of that the live action Battlefield trailer that was clearly taking some shots at the Call of Duty trailer?
I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
First one, it was funny. Like it was like my initial impression was, oh no, they're doing the Call of Duty thing. And
at first I was like, dear God, what is marketing doing?
What are they doing? And then they subverted that by dunking on everybody, which was fantastic. Really, it was it was fun. They're poking fun. And then I thought they struck a nice balance of showing that the game can be a little bit more tactical, right? Because they're like, oh, let's go in, and they're making call outs. And then it showed the more goofy side of Battlefield, where a guy is using an RPG 2 feet away from a dude in a building, and the building crumbles away, right? So it was, instead of having celebrities play the game, it was showcasing how players play the game.
Yeah.
And I thought they did a good job with it.
And for anyone who hasn't seen the trailer, just a quick recap. It starts off with like Zac Efron and a bunch of other celebrities walking around as soldiers, and they're doing the Call of Duty trailer thing where they just get these big celebrities to play this game. They know nothing about it and try and make them look cool and do all this stuff. And 10, 15 seconds into the trailer, they all get blown up, and then like the tactical guys take over, and it's a normal Battlefield trailer to a degree.
It looked like they're also taking jabs at the fact that there was like a golden weapon on the ground too.
Yeah.
So when they got taken out, there was a golden weapon. So hopefully indicative that they're not going to go too crazy on the skins if they're already poking fun at that, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I thought it was good. The timing of it, amongst all of this other stuff going on, is a bit odd. The other bit of Battlefield news is that they gave a whole bunch of people access to play 3 levels of the campaign, myself included. I tried to get you in, Matt. I was like, come on, Matt, sneak in the back door.
Yeah.
Security guy just wouldn't let you in there.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I got to play 3 levels. I noticed a lot of people who got to play it just posted raw gameplay. And I think there's a good reason for that, because if you just post raw gameplay, you don't have to say anything about it.
Yeah, it looked not great. It looked fine.
Yeah.
Like, the most terrible way I could describe it was it looked fine.
Yeah. And even then, I'd say it's a little bit under fine, to be honest. And it sucks because we've talked about this quite a bit on the podcast, but like Ridgeline Games up in Seattle started up with Marcus Leto, got shut down about a year into its operation for developing the single player for Battlefield 6. And then they had to just scramble and try and take it over, which mostly amounted to like a complete restart of single player. And so we're seeing a campaign that has probably a year less development time than it should have had. So given that, it's impressive that they got it to a playable state, but that playable state is not impressive.
Right. It may be impressive that they've done it. It's not, doesn't matter for the player, because it still looks real rough. I mean, it's just, once again, Battlefield just always seems to struggle when it comes to single player games. That version. I know there are people out there that love like Battlefield 1s and Battlefield 3 and 4's campaign.
BF1 was the best that they've done so far, in that it had characters that you felt like you could connect to and had interesting stories.
Kind of. They bounced around though, because they did the theater war thing. Because
I think they didn't stay with any of
it's
them long enough for you to develop a really big connection.
It's hard to make a game where you have characters that have an overarching, without. So they skipped by the whole. Well, we want people to experience a lot of the different theaters of war during Battlefield 1's, World War I. But how do you do that by keeping things connected? And they're like, well, we're not even going to try, because that's really hard to do. So we're just going to tell separate stories, which was a smart way of going about it. But you're right, it doesn't.
They told a lot of separate stories. If they had tried to focus on like maybe 2 to 3 characters, they could have potentially woven their narratives together. Which would have been challenging. But I liked it the most.
Connect up at one point, Yeah. Like see them in the background, or have them. Yeah, that would have been cool.
That was the closest I think they got to having a campaign with real substance to it. But also the gameplay was really mediocre, like the whole way through. It was a typical Battlefield campaign, which is like, there's the guy peeking up from behind cover, shoot him. Oh, you took some damage. Just wait till your health comes back. All right, keep pushing on.
Over and over again.
Yeah, it plays like
it's not great.
It's so basic.
This is my issue with single player FPS games in general, is that if you don't go all in on the single player, and that's not like the main thing, like your Wolfensteins or your Doom, right? It just becomes real bog standard. Just like you said, duck out of cover, shoot a couple of times, take damage, duck behind, wait for it to regen, and then rinse and repeat over and over. And that's the gameplay, and that gets stale quickly.
Yep. I I hate to say it, but I was just underwhelmed right from the start. The first mission they threw me into was the beach landing sequence in this Amtrak thing. And single players, I think most of these games have single players because they provide enough good cutscenes for trailers. And that is a good return on investment for marketing to a degree, because it's proven. And now that I've been doing my own research in this field, that having really cinematic, pre-rendered or highly cinematic, highly rendered trailers for video games increases the sales and the interest in that game massively. So creating a really cinematic single player campaign that can be turned into a trailer almost pays for itself. And I think that's what they do a lot of the times here. But then you're just playing basically a cutscene. And so like in the beach landing sequence, you're literally not even driving the Amtrak. You're just in a turret, just, shoot the mines in the water, shoot the guys in the turrets, it's just boring. It's really boring. And unfortunately, they didn't have enough visuals this time to make it so impressive visually that you're like, I don't even care. It looks so good. Cause it's like that jet sequence from BF3 that everybody remembers when you're taking off the aircraft carrier. That wasn't any gameplay. You're literally just walking to a jet to take off, and it's all on rails, but it looked so good that everybody remembers it being this cool sequence. Mm-hmm. This one doesn't even quite have that because clearly the visuals are undercooked. There's like a big skyscraper that collapses in the distance where they're trying to show this big theater of war. It's like the whole game was planned to have more time and a bigger budget. And then they're like, oh crap, we ran out. And then just had to try and finish all these big set pieces with less time and less money. And so you see this big skyscraper collapse at one point, and it's like, they just don't have enough particle effects in there to mask the crummy animation behind it all. And so you just see this like structure janky fall down and weird puffs of smoke pop up, and you're like, oh man, like they just didn't get it there. And it's very out of character for DICE. Normally they make really boring single players that look really pretty. Like that's what they do, right?
And now it's really boring and only okay looking.
Yeah. But you're right. I can think of some ways to make these games more interesting and more fun. And there's like ideas in there where you're like, oh, it seems like they're trying to do something where they give you this little scroll wheel where you can tell your squad to like throw a smoke or throw a grenade.
I've never liked that. It's whatever.
But it's such a throwaway idea where they're like, yeah, I guess we could do this and it wouldn't be too hard and we could do it quickly. And that's like what that idea is.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is just so standard. And they put in a clean house copy and paste mission, right? Like the whole interior.
It did not look anywhere close to as good. Like everything from that Call of Duty mission was peak, right? Like the animation, the tension, the pacing, flawless.
Yep.
And then you look at the Battlefield version, there's like 3 dudes walking around in a room just back and forth. I'm like, what is this?
It looks bad. The AI is bad. The graphics are not as good, which is saying something. Mind you, this was from the Modern Warfare reboot?
I think it was 2019.
2019, a 6-year-old Call of Duty game, when put side by side with Battlefield 6's single player, trying to copy and paste what Call of Duty did, COD looks better. Just way better. Not only is the AI better, the gameplay's better, and the graphics are all better. Yeah. And you're just like, dang, they're dropping the ball here. You really shouldn't have made that comparison because it really highlights just how far behind you guys are with this campaign.
I think one thing, and I just thought of this, and you could disagree with me. I think why that mission is so much more successful is that it's less about the like throwing tons of enemies at you, which it does eventually, but it's more about like the individual like kind of brutality. And, like it's very much more personal in your face with it, right? Like each kill is a lot more like personal in that. And I think that's why it's so much more effective.
Yeah, it had great audio design where you can hear the people in the rooms. You hear like bumping through the wall, like people getting ready to fight you, and you're like, what's going on? Right. Breach a door, a guy's got like a gun to a woman's head, and you're like, oh my God, you shoot the guy, she falls on the ground and then tries to grab a gun and shoot you, and then you have to drop her, and you're like, it's just like
a brutal scene.
It's brutal. It puts you in this moment, and it has this completely different vibe. And then Battlefield's like, You're like sledgehammering through an entire wall as it like explodes. And then like the AI are just popping up and doing their generic movements on you. And it all just feels jank and crappy.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you don't even need night vision goggles to do the mission. So they're like, they set the lighting at a point where you're like, you could take it or leave it. And you're like, that defeats the point. That defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Right.
It's cooler if you put on the NVGs and then you have the advantage. And yeah. So it was just everything about it was like as expected and just undercooked. Like it would be boring even if they had the time to make it the way they wanted to make it, but at least it would be pretty. And this time around, you're like, oh, they just didn't have enough time to quite get it there.
Well, that's too bad to hear. I'm not too surprised because we heard rumors that the single player was behind schedule. It'd be nice if they delayed the single player and were like, hey, we'll deliver it at a later date. They're not going to. They won't do that. But it'd be nice if they did. I don't think this will be indicative of the multiplayer. I've actually heard good rumors that the multiplayer, I don't even know if they're rumors. It may have just been confirmed. That they have like a lot of plans for post-launch content pretty quickly after launch. That they're going to be rolling stuff out. And what we've played has been really solid for the multiplayer. So I'm not too concerned on that front, but we're less than 2 weeks away now.
Yeah.
And we'll be seeing very shortly.
Yeah, no, it's a interesting dichotomy because the multiplayer is fantastic. We've played it quite a bit during the betas, and then there's been leaks showing maps that they haven't talked about yet that are not part of the initial lineup. So that suggests that they're already well underway developing new maps that are going to come out as seasonal content or whatever their plans are post-launch. And yeah, that part of development seems like it was given its time. It didn't have any major development hurdles to get over. And then the single player was handled by a studio that then EA shut down. And then it got shuffled off to like 4 other companies to try and finish it. And you're like, oh God, I wouldn't want to be one of those companies trying to salvage this game.
Oh yeah.
It'd be terrible.
It'd be incredibly difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting to put it side by side. I'm not personally too upset about it. I'm always sitting there going like, why are you spending so much money and wasting so much time and making something so mediocre? You know, it's like, just cut it at the end of the day. If you're not going to give it a good effort, then just cut it. Right. Like, yeah, I would prefer that.
There are people that won't buy a game though, if there isn't a single player attached to it. And I think they're banking on that. Even if it is just mediocre, there's a lot of people who feel like they're not getting their money's worth for a $60, $70, $80 game now. Yeah. So I think that plays a role.
It's crazy. COD really upset the boat on this one, where they're just like, we're going to offer everything.
Everything.
And Battlefield's like, oh, we need a single player too. Yeah. And now we get mediocre single players from Battlefield endlessly.
Yeah. There's been a couple of good ones. Bad Company back in the day was good, but they've been all pretty average.
Pretty average, yeah. BF5 had potential for like a more interesting narrative, but the gameplay again just kind of just was whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, still very excited for Battlefield 6 to drop.
Yep.
You know, Andrew Wilson's still the head of EA.
Seems good. So yeah.
Despite EA getting bought and the single player not looking particularly good, I'm still hopeful for BF6 to launch and be a solid game that is for sure in the best interest of the 3 companies that bought it. They want BF6 to do well. In fact, that was like a point that shareholders brought up, because shareholders, if you owned EA stock, you just got paid out. I think it was $210 a share or something like that for the valuation. And they're all like, dang it, we are expecting the valuation of EA to go way up once BF6 dropped. And now we're getting bought out early before that happens.
Ooh, that's dirty. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
You're right. Because with Battlefield, I think Battlefield 6 is going to be quite large.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
they made an argument. They made an argument that the sale price probably factored in the perceived success of BF6. And they're like, but we're not getting paid on that, which is what we invested in the company for.
Right.
So they're like, this sucks. But whatever.
I don't know the legality of it or what. Like I said, that ain't my specialty.
Yeah. I did see a thing. It still has to get government review for national security stuff because there's enough foreign investment in this buyout that they have to look at it. I don't imagine
that's probably pretty standard though, just across the board.
I don't imagine that would stop any of this from going through. And Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, which is one of the bigger owners of EA now, they've been pushing out into game development for quite a while. They've just got billions and billions of dollars, and they're pushing out into every tech sector imaginable, and games has been a big part of that for them now. So
gotcha.
It's just interesting, man. I don't love seeing all these titles go, all these big corporations and titles go elsewhere. They pointed out that Microsoft is like basically the biggest American-owned game company
Tech company now?
Well, game publisher
Game
now.
company?
Yeah. Like EA
Actually, yeah, you would be right, because Sony is, you're right.
Right? Yeah, they're all getting bought out, and even the European-owned ones are getting bought out and partially owned and whatever. It's interesting. It doesn't make me happy. It makes me a little sad to see it go, but we are.
We'll have to make our own awesome game company.
That's the idea, right?
You're already starting. You're already starting on that trek, right?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, well, I think there's a huge amount of power in indie dev, so hopefully, and we're seeing that firsthand. With AA companies really setting the tone for like what's going to be the next big hit, and everybody else just sort of following in their footsteps, and AAA fumbling the ball every chance they can get, and just being like, I guess we'll just make another Assassin's Creed or something, and that's all they can do now is like just go back to the only things that they know how to do, which is pump out another version of the same big game IP that they have.
Yep.
Which I am excited to play on October 10th. And oh man, dude, Star Citizen's thing is happening one day later. Having CitizenCon one day later. Then we get a beta to Arc Raiders right after that.
Yep.
Call of Duty's
about a week later, but yeah.
Yeah. Then Arc Raiders is dropping at the end of the month. When's COD dropping? Is that slightly before?
So Call of Duty is tomorrow if you are Game Pass. So Monday, Tuesday, yeah. And then Battlefield is on the 10th. 17th to the 19th is Arc Raiders. Then it has its launch on the 30th.
Yeah. It's a big month for shooters, dude. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big month.
Arc Raiders has got some balls on them, man. Like, honestly, dropping
in between these titles. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really in between, but right after, right? You're like, hey, if you got any money left over, we're here, Well,
no, Call of Duty comes out in November.
Okay, but Game Pass is really that early for COD?
Game Pass is for beta.
Oh, beta. Got it.
It's on Tuesday. Sorry, I didn't clarify. I thought that's what you were referring to.
Yeah, no, I'm just getting all the release dates mixed up. There's too much stuff going on.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So, interesting times. Now, speaking of Microsoft being the biggest game publisher potentially now, I think, in the United States, there was a story about the Xbox getting dropped from a whole bunch of retailers after their price hike. And they didn't say why they were dropping the Xbox. These retailers would be like Costco and some other big stores that are well known for selling game consoles and stuff. Price hike probably has something to do with it, but also the Xbox has been playing second fiddle to the PlayStation for a long time. And I think they've just continued to lose market share quite a bit. And I don't think the Series X has done particularly well against the PlayStation 5. So at this point, they're just like, yeah, we just probably don't sell many of these things anymore. So we don't need to carry them. And I don't know. It's kind of sad. What do you think? That's my theory.
I'm very So Costco isn't carrying them anymore, which is not a good look for Xbox at all. When one of the bigger stores, it's like, nah, it's not worth it. They're not selling now. Why would they sell with another couple? $50 more, $100 more with all these different price hikes. So it makes sense why they're doing it, but what does that mean for the future of Xbox and like whatever they come after, right? Because I'm assuming there's going to be a PlayStation 6.
Yeah.
What are they going to be competing with? Nintendo? Is Xbox going to be bowing out? Like, are they going to have to? Is
It
Xbox's
sort
next
of
big
seems
console?
inevitable to a degree, but I don't know. Microsoft's
That would be
huge.
bad.
They can keep throwing money at it, but if they keep losing money, like what's the incentive essentially?
Right.
So, yeah, I do
not want to see a day where it's just PlayStation, because then that's not going to be good for anybody, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get a mediocre product at that point, because they have no reason to innovate. They have no reason to push it, right?
Well, I mean, there was a day. I mean, before Xbox entered the market, it was Nintendo versus PlayStation to a degree. And a lot of people just had both of them, and they kind of went after different gaming markets, which is definitely now still the case. But if PlayStation becomes the de facto console for anything that's like hardcore FPS or whatever, which the Switch clearly is not going after that market even still, then they can do whatever they want with their prices and their deals and their little whatever. Like, there's nobody going to be there to balance them out. And Microsoft has really thrown all these insane deals at gamers with like the Game Pass stuff and all that, where you're just like, this is inarguably like the most cost-effective way to play video games now. You just get so much with it. And they've bought all these major IPs, but it seems like they're more banking on just owning the IPs and selling those games regardless of what platform they come out on. And the Xbox may peter out eventually. I hope it doesn't, but it could.
Yeah, they might just go to the software side of things and just make games, but games for PC, games for PlayStation, like where I don't know. Well, we're jumping the gun, obviously. This could be an indication of things to come, but it's when a big store is no longer going to be carrying what was supposed to be the big competition for PlayStation, it's not a great sign.
Yeah. And you made me think about something, is that when you said, are they going to be making games for Xbox or just Windows or what? What are they going to be making games for? The Xbox ROG Ally, right? Their little handheld device, which has got the Xbox name on it. It doesn't play Xbox games natively. Mm-hmm. So, which is their advertising for it is super, I'd say it's borderline misleading, because they're like, Xbox, play your games on the go and all this other stuff. And I think there's even a thing that's like, this is your Xbox. It's just like, you would look at the ad and be like, cool, I can play Xbox games on my handheld, but it can only play Xbox games that are the Play Anywhere, have the little Play Anywhere tag on them, which means you can play them on a Windows machine, because that's what the ROG Ally is. It's just a Windows machine.
It's just Windows.
So you can't play a native Xbox title on it. You can launch the Xbox app and play from your library that is of Play Anywhere games, basically.
Right. I got you.
So if they're not pushing that with the ROG Ally for some sort of handheld native Xbox thing, then maybe they're already planning on, hey, we're just going to make games for Windows, essentially.
They might.
Because why invest all this stuff?
They've got a lot of investment now into all these companies. They own a lot of companies now.
Yeah. For
it just to be PC, maybe it'll work. Because PC has been growing in popularity year after year, to my understanding, right? So maybe that's the future.
Well, and also at that point, if Xbox bowed out of the competition, I don't see any reason why Microsoft wouldn't just start publishing their games on PlayStation also.
Yeah, they also could pivot to mobile, which might be a thing, because mobile is so large now these days, even though it's not even a blip on my radar, but for a lot of people, that's all they do is mobile. They only play mobile games.
Yeah. Dude, the 2020s are like the decade of mass consolidation for video games. Like, all these mega corporations have just bought up all these small game companies, not even small, big game companies and small game companies. And they've all just like consolidated everything under like several different mega corporations. And it's just like, yeesh, what is going on, man? It's crazy. It's not good. I mean, it's also the decade of consolidating a lot of other things, and small businesses going out of business and big corporations just dominating in like ways that they've never dominated before. And you're just like, gosh, we're heading towards that like cyberpunk dystopian
It'll be
future.
fine. It'll be fine. Everything will work out. It'll be great.
Yeah. I've been reading a lot of sci-fi lately and enjoying stuff, and a theme that goes along in sci-fi that's very similar to what we're seeing now is like big corporations just own space expansion, because you don't send governments out into space first. Corporations go out in search of money, right? They're like, oh, let's get the resources and the research and all this stuff, and then we'll make money on it. And so in all of these games or in all of these novels and series and stuff, it's like the corporations end up controlling the space, and then they're sort of fighting with or whatever the governments of planets and whatnot. And it's interesting, and it totally makes sense when they explain it. You're like, yeah, that all makes sense to me.
I could see it happening. Yeah.
We got SpaceX right now that's dominating the space race, right? So they're building all the best rockets and sending stuff up, and you're like, yeah, if we find that it's like super economical to mine asteroids, like the first company to do it's going to be SpaceX probably, or set up to do it. And then you're like, oh yeah, the corporations will just own this SpaceX expansion.
And there's potentially a lot of money up there. I think there was someone that said that if there's like a couple of asteroids or something giant that have so much gold in them that everyone on Earth would be like a trillionaire. It's like, well, that's not how that actually works. But you know, there's a lot of resources up there where it could be a big deal.
You bring one down and you've basically solved all of our rare earth metal problem for ever, basically. Yeah. You're like, here's enough like lithium and nickel and gold and cobalt and whatever else you want for like ever, because you don't have to mine it anymore. It's just sitting there on a rock for you. Like, have fun.
Yep.
Easy peasy. We should just go do it. Why aren't we doing that, Matt?
Yeah, why aren't we doing that now? Come on, scientists.
Yeah.
Chip chop.
That'd be pretty cool. Like, they could televise it and stuff. It's like attaching little asteroid robots with like their little rockets to the asteroid and then moving it. They showed footage of slamming that satellite into that asteroid a while back.
And it moved it.
Yeah, to move it. And you're like, that's cool. I mean, if they're doing that kind of stuff already, like you could land a little thing on there, start thrusting it back towards the Earth until it enters the orbit. Although then they could go Marco.
I don't know if we want to make it into orbit. I don't know how they would do it, but
yeah, you don't want to go Marco and Naros from the Expanse and just like slam it into Earth. Yeah,
yeah, because those things are traveling so quickly. I don't think you can just have it start to orbit right naturally.
Yeah,
without some crazy thrusters.
Yeah, there was an RTS game called Planetary Annihilation, I think, and you could do that in that, where after you've expanded beyond the bounds of your planet, you could go attach thrusters to like an asteroid or a moon and then slam a microplanet into another planet. And you're like, instead of invading you with tanks and airplanes, which I can also do, I'm just going to obliterate your entire planet. And it's like, that's cool, man. You got to respect it a little bit, you know?
It's a neat concept for a game.
Yeah. I like RTS combat games where you're like, you start off with like your little soldiers pew-pewing at each other, then you get little tanks that pew-pew, and then you get bigger tanks or mechas or something.
And then you're summoning asteroids from the heavens above.
Yeah. It's just such a fun way to escalate those games. I got to check that one out again. Still playing a bit of bar here and there, which is, it's just fantastic. And they keep coming out with updates. It's a totally free-to-play game built by the community.
It's pretty cool.
It's wild. And they're getting tons of updates for it and all kinds of cool stuff. Just passionate developers, man.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought that one of the most popular RTSs now, competitive RTSs, would be a 100% free-to-play and made for free? So it's not microtransaction based. You just get it.
Are they going to open it up for payment later?
So they're going to try and publish it on Steam, at which point there might be some sort of pay system, because I
would hope so.
Yeah. I think
they
Steam
they still have to pay these people.
Yeah. I don't know how it's going to work. They might have a donation system right now. I'd have to look into it.
Okay. That's cool though.
It is cool. So, I know you played some Hades too. I didn't get a chance to play it this weekend, but I'm gonna try and play some this week.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, the game that won Game of the Year, didn't it? The first one?
It won like Best Indie or something like that.
Yeah, it got awards because it's amazing. And lo and behold, the second one is just as good, if not better in a lot of ways. I absolutely adore it. The way they're able to tell the story and keep gameplay fresh and keep you interested, doing the same runs but trying new things, introducing new mechanics is all fantastic. Like you're just like, oh, that's a new thing, and then okay, now I understand. I had a moment where I was like, man, you have to plant stuff and have it grow, and that gives you resources which you can then spend for upgrades. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I really need to get more, because there's clearly more spots for plot of stuff, right? For more farming spots. And I thought to myself, man, it'd be really great if I could get another one of these, because things are really starting to slow down. And lo and behold, I got an upgrade literally right then and there.
Nice.
That gave me more plots. So it's like, it's just well balanced, it's well thought out, and yeah, it just continues the story of Hades 1, and in a lot of ways just is bigger and better. I've really thoroughly been impressed.
Kind of genius to mix a farming sim into a roguelike.
It's not actually a farming sim, but yeah.
And farming element in there. You got to plant some stuff. Get your resources. Yeah, no, I'm really excited to play it. We should clarify that this is the 1.0 release of it. It's been in early access for like a year and a half or something like that. A bit. They've taken their time with it, but it sounds like it's paid off. Because you played it when it first came out, and now you're playing it again. So how would you say the difference is? I started over, and I think it's much more polished, obviously. The beginning isn't vastly different, but I had noticed some changes. I feel like I can't really remember how they handled the beginning with the boons. So every time, if you guys haven't played the original, boons are basically your upgrades in the run. Each encounter, you get an upgrade, and you need to decide what that upgrade will do, based off of like a list that they give you. And I didn't really feel like there was a lot of synergy when the game originally came out. I was like really having a hard time figuring out like what goes with what. And now I'm like, okay, I know what this weapon is strong at. I know what this god is good for, and I'm going to go with this kind of style or build, right? So I've already been able to theory craft some great builds, and then I can execute them relatively well, and then be surprised when I get a boon that was like, oh, I didn't even know that existed, and it synergizes incredibly well with what I was already going with, and that's really satisfying. I have already beaten, so there's like one route, and I've already beaten that a couple of times. There is a second route, which is a slight spoiler, I guess. So it's not just the same route over and over again. There's like an entirely different zones that you can do. Cool.
And that one is really hard.
Yeah.
Like really hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you playing on controller or mouse and keyboard?
I'm using controller, but you can use mouse keyboard if you want. I
prefer controller for it. I feel like it's really built for controller.
Yeah, exactly. It is built for it.
Yeah, that's cool. Gosh, so excited to boot that one up. I'm probably going to force myself to get into it this weekend. How much is that? Like a $30 game or something?
I think so. I think it's like $30. Yeah, it's on the cheaper side, which is just ridiculous. It is $30. Yeah, $30.
Nice.
The voice acting is exceptional. The art is gorgeous. I don't really have many critiques. There is one boss that requires memory. It throws a memory like challenge at you, and if you screw up, it does a lot of damage. And I'm like, that's something I struggle with. Yeah, because I think I'm like mildly dyslexic, and I really have a hard time like remembering things.
Your kryptonite. Like, oh no.
No, it is like literally when it happened, I was like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so now beat me in a game of chess, and it's like chess set to hard or something. You're like, what? Yeah, oh, come on, man.
I was like, where did this come from? So I need to get over that.
Yeah.
But so that would be like my one critique is like, if you're It's only one boss, and it's a great boss other than that. But boy, that one definitely was a bit of a slap in the face because I'm like, this is something that I just not physically, but I struggle with memory games. So yeah,
that's funny. That's really interesting. It's a good way to mix things up for sure.
Yeah.
I played, and this was disclosure, part of a sponsorship thing, but I think it's a cool little game. Painkiller. Are you familiar with that series? It's like
is it Boomer Shooter?
Yeah, kind of. It's basically like a Doom style FPS. The first game came out in like 2004, 2006, something
there's
like
a
that.
new one coming out, right?
Yeah. And it's co-op.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, so what I like about it is imagine playing Doom where you've got your baddies and you got to like collect your ammo and like stay topped off and then fight bosses. But now you can co-op. You can do it with two other, I think it's parties of 3.
This game comes out in 3 weeks. God damn it.
I know, right?
What is happening, dude?
So I got to play with Big Fry and Aculite, and
nice.
It was fun. What I like about it is you made me think about it because it's got these sort of roguelike elements in that you can create a build in it. And you get these tarot cards, and you can equip 2 tarot cards every run, but they burn after your run is over. So you have to basically use a lottery system, and then you can stockpile tarot cards and then like mix and match and figure out what kind of build you want to make for your next run, but you can't use those tarot cards again once you use them. So you can get ones where it's like, oh, after you do a combo, after you do 12,000 in combo, it will refill all of your ammo for you. That could be like a tarot card ability. And then you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll use that with this like SMG that's really good at getting combos and like chaining shots and stuff. And that'll be my build idea. And so you're kind of theory crafting builds a little bit before you go in, as opposed to building it along the way. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work, where you're like, this is going to be sick. But I thought it was a really cool idea. And then you're sort of talking with your teammates where you're like, I'm going to try this build that does this. And they're like, oh, interesting. Okay, I'm going to go for the build that like heals us then if like I do the right kind of stuff. And so everybody's sort of picking their own little like combinations. And then the weapons similarly have these interesting progression trees where you can like push a certain weapon into AoE more than single target damage or something like that. And you just come up with these fun little combos. I thought it was fun. I only played it for like maybe 3 hours or so, but it was enough to get hands on with it.
Worth keeping your eye on because it looked neat.
Yeah, it's fun. It looks neat, and I just really like the build mechanics in it. Where it's is
it a roguelike?
Not exactly. So okay. So basically, you can pick a map and set a difficulty, and then you get rewards and you rank up based on how you perform. Like if you beat it, you'll get a lot of rewards, and you can collect treasure chests, and those will unlock new things for you. So in a way, it's got roguelike elements where you're sort of building up in between runs and stuff and getting better and better. And you lose some of that stuff in between runs where you have to reset your strategy a little bit, but I wouldn't call it a roguelike. So it's got roguelike elements, but it's not really a roguelike.
Yeah, the tags for it are shooter, action, gore, fast-paced, and gothic. So
yeah, it's just sort of like when I got into it, I was like, oh, yeah, Doom would be cool as a co-op game. Oh, this is cool.
That's really what it looks like. It just looks like you're going to be using a wide array of really unique weapons and just going through hordes of cool enemies and just mastering the mechanics. It looks like a blast.
Yeah. And we died a lot. We thought we were going to own, and we're just like, we got this, no problem. And then you're like, oh, turns out all these mobs are designed to shoot people who can wall jump and parkour their way around a map really quickly. Like the mobs don't give a crap. They're like, have fun with that. So yeah, you really have to learn the bad guys that you're going up against. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid. And yeah, sorry, I'm getting a spam call on my phone. That's fun. I see that you played Megabonk.
I did. Have you heard about Megabonk?
Yeah, I have heard about Megabonk. I haven't, mostly just because I was like, is there a game called Megabonk? I don't
It's
understand.
called Megabonk.
Oh, you know how I heard about it is the dev. I think I saw the dev on X or something, and he was just like, "Oh my god, you guys are blowing up my game right now." And then I had to look at what it was. I was like, interesting.
It is a Vampire Survivor style, but it's in third person,
Yeah.
and it is super over the top. It throws thousands of enemies at you, and it is just like Vampire Survivors, where you try to become. It's like a bullet heaven, where you become the boss, right?
Yeah.
Where you're the one that's trying to swarm and take out.
I never heard
Not
that
really
term before, bullet heaven.
Yeah, I think that's the term. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it's very, very addicting, where you kind of try to have a build where you have these tomes that will give you bonuses. Like one tome will give you every time you level it up, or relatively, it'll give you more projectiles. Then you have items or you have weapons that will benefit from that, where you'll send out another projectile. Some will benefit more or less depending on, what they are.
Yeah.
But it is all about thinking ahead a little bit, trying to find the right tome to benefit your kind of like what you're going for, and just seeing how far you can take it. It technically, I don't think it's endless. There are bosses. There is a end game boss that you can kill. But the difference between like when you first get started to what people are now doing for like top of leaderboards is bananas in terms of damage.
Yeah.
Like just billions and billions worth of damage. And when you first get started, you're doing like a couple 100,000, right?
Yeah.
So it really ramps up into just absolutely chaos. Just you become the bringer of death. And yeah, it's goofy fun.
It's so cool because it's like the visuals on it, like trying to market that game. You're just like, okay, this looks really basic, but it's like Vampire Survivors. The screenshots and the visuals don't sell the game either. You're just like,
right,
what is this? I always like it when janky looking indie games like that end up being incredibly fun and cool.
Yeah, there's something addicting about just becoming the boss, right? But it's also cool to see the interactions between the different abilities and tomes. You can get an axe that you throw out, and it's just an axe. It just twirls around you and it comes back, kind of like a boomerang. But actually, it doesn't come back to you. Anyways, so that sounds kind of boring, right? But then you can get an upgrade. You can level it up, so that increases the size of the axe. And then you can get more projectiles. And then it starts throwing like 2 and 3. And you're like, okay, now I'm starting to see. Now like a cone in front of me. And then you get 16 axes. And then you just literally there's literally axes like radiating out of you. And it's going so fast that like you can't even keep up. And it's just literally a wall of axes flying out, right? So that's kind of why it just becomes so satisfying to see. I started off with one axe. And then by the end, I just become this like radiating ball of chaos. It's great.
Yeah. I like it when you feel like you have control over the game as opposed to the game controlling you. And you're just like, I'm going to try some crazy build that nobody's ever thought of. And like the dev probably thought of it, but like at least you feel like you're coming up with your own thing. It's fantastic when you have that kind of creativity over it. And apparently there was an original game, Bonk, I assume. He made Bonk and then... Oh, no, it's just Megabonk? Okay. I guess it's not... Megabonk is not the sequel to Bonk, Matt. I'm missing...
Damn. I didn't even know there was a Bonk.
Yeah, fake news. Sorry, everybody. Don't go play Bonk, but yeah.
Very different game.
So I was talking about earlier getting into reading more sci-fi. I'm well into the new Expanse books now.
Nice.
I call them new. They're ancient at this point, but...
I wouldn't say they're ancient, but they're...
older.
Yeah. They're a little older.
Liking it a lot. Solid stuff. Super bummed that the shows didn't cover the last 3 books.
Yep.
Because I'm like, oh, this would have been amazing. Like, it's just all great. It's just more, but also better and fantastic.
Because just to clarify, the final Leviathan Falls came out in 2021, so they're not that old.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So the funny thing is I believe they worked these 2 guys that wrote it, because it's two guys, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They, I believe, helped George R. R. Martin in some ways. They had like a project, and they have released the entire Expanse series in the time it took George to write his. He hasn't even finished the most recent book.
Mm.
So all the way back when he wrote Dance with Dragons till now, they've come out with this entire series that was turned into a TV show.
Yeah. It's man, everybody's got their own pace, but
yeah, everyone's got their own pace. Yeah. I wasn't trying to dig at George R. Martin, even though,
he deserves
it's still
a
disappointing.
It's like, come on, man, get those books done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm disappointed, but it was more just to illustrate that these two guys wrote this series relatively quick. It took them a decade, but they wrote 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 books in a decade, which is pretty quick. Pretty fast.
No, that's pretty good. I mean, I always wonder how they work together as like co-writers, But, I guess it just works where you're like, hey, this is what's going to happen in chapter 2. You start chapter 3. We'll compare notes afterwards. I don't know. I guess you just figure it out.
Who knows? Could be one's more, just collaborative in terms of brainstorming.
Yeah. Did you ever read the Eragon books?
I never did. No,
okay.
I should. But
should you?
I was always turned off by the fact, because it's dragons, bro.
Yeah, there's not a lot of those books out there.
I love dragons, bro. And it's one of the more prominent and popular dragon books.
Yeah.
But I always was turned off by the fact, even when I was younger, that it was written by a kid back in the day. Like he started off, I think, as a kid, and that was like as a kid, I was like, I'm dumb as a child. I can't imagine someone else who's also a child
reading
has
a
written
book
something.
by another child. Come on.
Exactly. That was literally how I thought. I was like, there's no way this is going to be exceptional. But I think I probably should go and read them just because they are. They're very popular.
I wanted to know because the other night Natalie and I decided to watch the movie just because we're like in the mood for a bad fantasy
I forgot
movie.
there was a movie, wasn't there?
Yeah, everybody did because it was garbage. But we went into it fully knowing it was garbage, and I think I had seen it whenever it came out, just forever ago. But it is a terrible film, and it is fun to watch because it's so bad, and like there's just no continuity or like none of the characters make any sense, and they have all this. It's got to be so high budget, like because they have all these big actors. They have John Malkovich in it, and all these like mega actors, and just the line delivery is terrible. And then they try and put in like Lord of the Rings epic music for scenes that doesn't make any sense. So you're just watching it. Like, I guess we're supposed to be feeling epic right now because the epic music is playing. Anyway, terrible movie. Fun to watch because you're just like, I want to see the studio throw hundreds of millions of dollars away on a fantasy movie. And
that's the best.
Yeah. It's just silly stuff.
Looks like decent CGI for 2006.
The CGI is honestly not bad. That's not the bad part of the movie. It's just kind of like all the writing.
Everything else. Yeah, I hear you.
I wanted to compare notes basically because like in the movie you're watching and like this dragon hatches from an egg and like in like 3 seconds it's like this wise being that knows all this stuff and you're just like,
nice.
How did you
accumulate this knowledge?
Yeah. Also, we're just laughing at it because, like, the rules of the universe, like, if the dragon master, right? He's came in contact with the egg, so the dragon's his or whatever. It's bound to him, and if he dies, then the dragon dies. But if the dragon dies, he's fine, I guess. And I was just like, boy, it really sucks to be a dragon. You're just basically born into slavery and you're like, protect this guy. And if you don't, you're dead. And it's just always funny how but bad fantasy will play that off as like this wonderful relationship. But like good fantasy will like actually delve into the like, is this a good relation? This is pretty messed up if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But since I think it's bad fantasy, it's just sort of like, this is wonderful. These kindred spirits, they're fighting together. I'm like, one of the people in this relationship is a literal slave. Just saying. It's like Pokemon, right? You're like, it's cute and fun until you think about it.
It's all cute until you realize they're literally using them to fight other Pokemon for the fun of it.
Ash goes out into the forest, beats these animals unconscious, traps them into a Pokeball, and then next time they wake up, they're in a battle arena fighting for their lives.
Yeah.
I want to play the
When you frame it like that, it doesn't sound great. Now, admittedly, Ash clearly cares for his Pokemon.
Yeah.
So, he cares.
Dude, I want to like
it is all messed up.
I want to see a movie that's like the serious hardcore version of Pokemon, where they're just like portraying like the actual atrocities of the sport.
But there's probably a book out there that has done that. It's funny. I'm reading Dungeon Crawler Carl is now doing a segment like that where there's like a Pokemon style game inside of this world, which is hilarious. Mm-hmm. I've only gotten started with this new book, but I'm interested to see where he goes with it because the book series is definitely much more adult than Pokemon.
Yeah, that would be really funny. Oh man, so dark but funny. I like poking fun at those things. I saw a movie I've been meaning to see for a while now called Weapons. Do you see the trailer?
I hear it's very good.
It is. It's really good. It's a horror.
Is it a horror? Is it a thriller?
It is a horror movie. It's not like the scariest thing I've ever seen. There's a few jump scares in it. Mostly creepy, but it pulls you in because it's interesting and it's well made, and it gives the characters a lot of depth, even when you're like, why are we building up this character? They just seem like,
Jesus, the kid with the clown. No.
I feel like that shot is a little campy and misleading for the movie. I think that,
okay.
Yeah, I saw that thing and I was just like, oh, that's a little cheap. Not to say that the movie doesn't take a few cheap shots here and there, but it's better than the poster.
Okay. Fair enough.
The premise, which it explains to you in the first 5 seconds of the film, so I'm not spoiling anything here, and so does the trailer. A classroom of children that all go to the same school and are in the same classroom. They go home in the middle of the night at like 2:17 p.m. They all wake up and run out the front door, and they know this because like they caught it on Ring cams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then nobody ever sees them again, and they go, and the town is just like, what's going on? And basically the story takes place about a month after that happens, and it's like the parents being like,
it's already super creepy.
It's super creepy. It's a fantastic premise of just like immediately you're in. You're like, well, I got to find out what happens. I got to know.
Why did the kids run out the door? Yeah.
Why
the
kids
hell?
run
That's
out?
Weird.
And it's got great acting. It's got Josh Brolin. It's got this girl in it who's in Ozark, who's amazing. I forgot her name.
Yeah, she does good work.
She's really good. And then it's got like a bunch of really fun side characters that they just they tell the story from a lot of different character perspectives in it. And they just go deep with these characters to a point where you're like, this has no meaning. This is not related to the premise at all. They just want you to know that this dude's like not a good husband or whatever behind the scenes. They're like, here's his relationship with his wife, and he's kind of an alcoholic. He wasn't
actually a very good man.
He's an alcoholic, and he's missing his AA meetings and all this other stuff. And you're like, oh, that's interesting, and I like this. I like the amount of depth you're giving to these characters, and also then like it's just isn't really relevant to the overarching thing, but it makes it more enjoyable because then when the characters are in a scary situation, you're sort of, them now and you're sort of invested in their character. And I thought it was clever. They gave a lot more backstory than most movies would, and it invests you in the characters and the narrative more so than your average horror movie, which is just like, do you guys want to go hide in that haunted house over there? And they're like, okay. And then you're like, I don't care about these people. They can die in the next frame, and I really won't care. Yeah.
Well, cool. I might check it out.
Yeah, it's a little creepy, but it is a horror film at the end of the day. So
yeah,
fair warning. You do any? So you're reading your dungeon crawler thing?
Yeah, more. I got past the 5th book. I'm on the 6th one now.
Dang.
It's still great. It's still lovely. I've read like 2 or 3, or in 2 to 3 months or something. I've read like 5 books, so I've been going relatively quick, at least for my normal cadence. Yeah, it's still fun. I don't want to like say too much because it'd just be spoilers, but it's still awesome Dungeon Crawler Carl and all its goofiness that I just can't get enough of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I did watch some things, but I can't remember off the top of my head now. Some anime, kaiju, what was it? Now I'm going to blank and look like an idiot.
You watched K-pop
Kaiju
Demon
number
Hunters?
8.
No.
Kaiju number 8. Yeah. Caught up on that.
I'm guessing there's big monsters in that one?
Yep. The entire premise is that there's like an Earth Defense Force, and not really Earth Defense Force, but there's a group of people that fight giant monsters.
Yeah.
Kaiju.
Yeah.
And he becomes a kaiju, and he wants to join still, and he does. Well, spoiler alert, but yeah. It's a whole, that's literally the premise of the show.
Okay. I rely on you for my anime news because I only hear about the stuff that gets so big that it makes mainstream news.
Yeah. It's fun. It's definitely very shonen, like power, friendship kind of thing at moments, but I like it. It's big action set pieces.
Have you watched the anime? It's called like Masters of, or like, it's like Galactic Heroes or something.
Galactic Heroes. No, I haven't heard of that one.
Legend of Galactic Heroes. That's what it's called. I wanted to watch it, but it's only on like Crunchyroll or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not paying a subscription fee for that. But
fair.
Yeah, it's like because I'm on my space kick right now, watching, galaxy battles and solar system battles. And it's supposed to be a decent one where it's like just massive fleets of ships blowing each other apart.
I might have to check it out.
Yeah, maybe I'll have you watch it for me. And then
came out in 1988 to 1997. Is that true? It looks more modern than that, at least based off of what I'm seeing here.
Did you go back in time there? Yeah.
Maybe
I think they made some more recent movies.
I think it's because there's a Dai Nui These. What the hell?
I don't know. Yeah, it's like one of those things where like Gundam is so complex now, you have to literally...
There's all these different versions of it, right?
You have to look it up, and they have different universes where you're like, this is the same story, and they're like, yeah, but that's not really connected to this same universe. They just restarted the narrative again and retold it. Right. But it's not clear that it's like a remaster of the original Gundam thing until you read up on it, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The only other thing I watched was Superman, but I don't know if I mentioned that last podcast.
You did. You did.
Yeah.
And we liked it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. I thought it was decent. Decent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, boy, a lot happened. EA. I still think about it. I'm trying to wrap up the podcast here, but it just seems weird to go out on like, guess everything's the same. See you next week.
Everything's the same. Well, yeah. We didn't. Another week, things are going to start ramping up.
Yeah.
It's going to get very blitzy. I'm excited. I am genuinely excited to try out the Call of Duty beta in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will be decent and it's going to be Call of Duty. Let's be honest. It's going to be more of the same. They're adding in the wall jump mechanic, which who knows if that'll be any good. It's not wall running. I feel like they tried to make a compromise. They're like, it's not wall running, guys. It's wall jumping.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not going to be it's not the same. Don't complain. But how will the maps be designed around it? Will it actually change things? The Call of Duty community they constantly talk about how they want their games to be more movement based, right? With the whole slide canceling stuff, and wall jumping would add to that. We'll see if the community actually appreciates it or if it's just people who are super sweaty and everyone else is like, this is too much. I don't like it anymore.
Well, last time they tried heavy movement stuff in COD, they didn't ramp up to it enough, and there's a lot of pushback. So they've been kind of ramping up to more of a movementy COD, I feel, with the last several games. So maybe it'll fly further. As I've said many times, I really liked Advanced Warfare, which was very movement heavy.
Yep.
But I liked it because it wasn't Call of Duty, essentially. I was like, This is great. It's not like Call of Duty. So, yeah, I don't know if the franchise will ever go there. It would be nice if they could firmly establish Black Ops as like, it's the movement version of Call of Duty, and then your Modern Warfare is the non-movementy version or something, and sort of separate the styles and get the player base to be okay with those differences. Like, that could be kind of cool. I think you have to sort of, you have to sort of stick with your plan and build up those audiences respectively. And there would be like some crossover, but not universal crossover maybe. But maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe they just want the same audience to like all of the games.
I'd be a little surprised if they separated them more, because I think people expect they're going to buy a new Call of Duty every year and they want things to be relatively the same. But that would be interesting if the Modern Warfare series became the more slower Call of Duty, even though it's still really fast, because that's where slide canceling was like became really prominent.
Which was the one where you
Warzone.
swipe with the knife and it's like a lightsaber and you just kill people from like 3 meters away or whatever.
I actually don't remember that at all. There was a lightsaber?
No. I'm just saying like the knife felt like a lightsaber in terms of its killing potential.
Oh, that was Modern Warfare 2 with Commando.
Yeah. It was just insane how like quick and insane those games became, where you just run around and guess like, knife, you're dead. And you're like, what are we playing right now? This is insane.
Yeah, it was super goofy. And that was Modern Warfare, the original, not 2, not the recent Modern Warfare, because that doesn't confuse things at all. Thank you so much, Activision, for that.
I'm still waiting for Battlefield to pull the just Battlefield name. You know, the next one's gonna be Battlefield.
Even if they did just call it Battlefield, you could still just call it, well, because then what battle? Did you play the new Battlefield? Yeah, which one?
Yeah.
Battlefield.
Right.
I played Battlefield. Like Battlefield 1? No, Battlefield 1 is a different Battlefield.
I want Battlefield 1942 too.
There you go.
Yeah, that won't be awkward. 1942 too. They're like, we've already done 1943. You can't do 1943 again, so you have to.
They essentially did that with Battlefield 5, right? Because that is a World War II game.
Yeah.
But they called it something different, thankfully.
No, I'm just saying they should have called it 1942 too.
They should have. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't. Honestly.
And then
missed opportunity.
Yeah. And everybody's running around in tutus. You're like, haha, we got you on that one.
That's how that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alternate history right there. Dude, I still think they should do an alternate history Battlefield. That would be so sick.
I do as well. They did the cops and criminals one, and you're like, get creative, guys. Come on, give me some steampunk warfare or something, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Steampunk. That would be sick.
Yeah. They, I think the only way they could make it work, because they've been teasing around like a 2042 proper remake for a while, or 2142. Sorry, I should say. Too many 42 games.
Too many 42s, yeah.
Yeah. So
there's
like
only 2 of them, but that's okay.
The sci-fi angle, right? This would be the advanced warfare version of Battlefield, essentially. They've been teasing it, but I think they're just afraid because the sci-fi route, it was not a well-received game. 2142 was not. So they didn't sell a lot. It came out in a weird time, which probably hurt that a bit. But EA, I think, is skeptical of going to sci-fi. And
yeah, I think they are. I think you're right.
Rightfully so. I think they would make less money on it, and it would probably cost them the same amount, if not more, to make it. So I don't know if we have that in our future, the more exotic style games, but
and Matt, because I really feel like the recent Battlefield has kind of like a grittier vibe, where it feels more not necessarily claustrophobic, but things kind of feel like everything's a little bit squished in, because like when you're walking through these streets, it feels like you're walking through a street. You walk through the street in Battlefield 2042, it's all spread out. Like it just feels like it doesn't feel like you're in the environment.
Yeah.
And then so imagine like a spider tank, steampunk spider tank, or a futuristic spider tank, like walks around the corner with dust and things in the air, the lights, oh dude, it'd be sick. That would be sick.
It would be really cool. I think the most likely alternate history thing that they would do would be like either World War II never ended, and here's our crazy kind of World War II steampunky vehicles, or it's like a post-apocalyptic one where it's like, World War III happened, and now we've got our World War III tech, but it's in this like apocalyptic hellscape that we all fight over now. It's like we're fighting in the ruins of New York City or something, So I could see those angles being like the most realistic route that they might go. But I
This would be so far in the future because we're literally getting the new one right now in a couple of days. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, It could already be planned. It could already be in the works, especially if they go with Byron Beatty's plan of having a new Battlefield every year.
Oh
or
God,
whatever.
please no.
Future Field. Let's do it.
Future Field.
There was a Terminator game that was basically a Battlefield game, but like there were Terminators on one side and the Resistance on the other side. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, it was.
I don't know.
It wasn't that good, obviously, but like EA could go that route, just one side are cyborgs.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be like the AI Uprising, right? And one side plays the AI and the other side plays human resistance.
There you go.
Yeah. These things work as movies, not as games. The gamers, they just want their MP7s and their M16s and their it's stuff that they recognize, and they're like, oh, that's like the thing in real life.
Mm-hmm. It's easier to connect to.
Yep, fair enough. And it's been long enough since DICE has returned to this more modern theater of war that we're going to get with BF6. So
yeah, excluding 2042 and its garbage.
I would call that futuristic, but
it's not that futuristic.
Semi-futuristic.
It's like 20 years away. It's not that futuristic.
Yeah, but they had VTOL transport vehicles, Matt. Come on.
I know. It's not that futuristic, though. I consider it to be a modern title, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, hopefully next podcast, EA will still be EA, not be rebranded to like some other company name. And hopefully all will be well in the world of Battlefield and nothing drastic will change and there will be no crazy microtransactions.
Be very surprised if there was a big upheaval out of nowhere. That would
Thankfully, it's too late for them to make some sort of massive change to Battlefield 6 before it launches. Like, we're going to have tons of crazy skins in the game, but could always be the future. We don't know. We don't know. Hopefully it'll be great though. I'm not going to judge it till we see the results, but looking forward to it. Not far away now. And I didn't really intro the podcast, but if you guys enjoy the Level With Me podcast, it is on, it publishes Wednesday every week. But if you become a Patreon member, you can watch us record it live on Mondays. And then you can hang out for a little post-podcast chat. And regardless of whether or not you are a member, which you can become by checking the link in the video description, Matt will give you some weekly advice every week. And it is always incredibly valuable. Take it away,
So
Matt.
if you find yourself in a position where you can gain the boon of a god, my recommendation is choosing Poseidon if you have a fast-wielding weapon. Because, boy, Poseidon absolutely slaps. Now, if that's not your fancy and you have a more melee-oriented weapon, Aphrodite might be more up your alley. Those two, if you're struggling, slap. Good luck out there.
There's other benefits to partnering up with Aphrodite, too, if you know what I mean.
What would that be?
I don't know. Do you say Poseidon? Who says Poseidon?
Poseidon.
Poseidon. You just say Poseidon.
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 Poseidon?
Poseidon.
Chat, you're going to have to let us know on this one. This is ridiculous. I've never heard anyone say Poseidon before.
Poseidon.
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 All right, everybody. Thanks for watching the podcast. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Take care.